the moment, what we have is 12 A's. I'm actually going to just make this a little bit lower, just so it runs a little bit quicker. So I'm going to make this actually just 3, and I'm going to make this by 200 for each direction. Now, instead of this always being 200, maybe what I want to do is actually make this a tile size instead. So each tile I can kind of like work with. So what I'm going to do is actually just make this be in one place. So here what I'm going to do is a constant called tile size. Now the tile size is, of course, in this case, 200. So this means I can just replace 200 and 200 in lots of different ways. So I'm going to say tile size. Instead of this always saying 200, I can just change it in one place rather than 2. So what I should see now is 3 200 tiles across the page. 1, 2, 3. If I change this number, of course, if I change this to 100, then we'll see this being tile size 100. And then I can increase this number by 3, depending on what I want to do. Now, of course, what I want to do is not just make this 3 across, or 3 down the page. I want it to be 3 by 3. Just going to turn that to 200 because it's 200 by 3. What we want to do is kind of make this go across and down. So we want 9 A's on this page, hence the name of this project. So what we're going to do is add another loop inside our loop. So we've got the X direction and we want a Y direction as well. So within my loop, I'm going to add some space. So I'm going to add some space below here with another for loop, for round brackets, curly brackets. Now, in this way, we've got the X direction going across. For each one of these things, we want 1, 2, 3 going down the page as well. So within this, it's going to look very similar. I'm going to do let Y equal 0. And then I'm going to do a semicolon. Y is less than 0 for now. We'll change that in a sec. And then another semicolon. Y is equal to Y plus 1. So this is saying start at 0, end at 0, but increase by 1 at each time. But because the start and the end is the same, this isn't running just yet. So this code in here doesn't do anything. But what we're going to do is move this code from here, and we're going to copy this. Well, I'm going to cut it out and put it inside this one. So now what we'll see is the same thing as before. Now this won't run because this code will never run as well. So at the moment it doesn't work. If I just change this to 1, this now will run 1 time. So we'll see 3. If I run this 3 times as well, what do we see? Well, we'll still see 3, but technically there's 3 across, but there's 3 of exactly the same size down the page. That's because we haven't changed any of these numbers going on in here as well. So we're just going to change some of these numbers too. So here I'm just going to change 0 to be Y times tile size. And the tile size isn't 600, it's the tile size. So I've got X going across, Y going down, and then the tile size stays the same. So now what I have should be 9 A's. So this is adding a double loop inside of here. Now what I can do is actually start to increase these numbers, of course. So I could do something like 12 and 12. So that's 12 times 12 now. And obviously I can change this number to be a different tile size. But you might notice as I start to increase these numbers, this gets slow. This gets really, really slow. And we'll talk about how to speed that up in a second, which is why I kept it at 3 for now. So I'm just going to quickly change these back to 3. So 3. See, it's getting really slow, partly because I'm also recording at the same time. There we go. So it should speed the page up again once we do this. Anything that above kind of 10 is really, really slow. So how do we make this actually have speed increases? We don't just want to draw A on the page. We want to do a lot of things in this. What is the slow part to this? Well, the slow part to this is actually this copy. This copy is actually really, really slow. So what we're going to do in a minute is actually add some speed improvements.